Hey guys, welcome to Tales of the Aquarius. My name is Tammy. Yes, Emmanuel is not here today because he really doesn't have anything to say regarding this topic. So that's why I would be the only face you see for today's video. So for today's video, I will be talking about how to change your name in Germany and specifically for the purpose of marriage. So I recently got married, or we recently got married, and I had to change my last name. Now, this is of course not compulsory. It's a personal decision if you want to change your last name or not. But for me, I wanted to do it, so I had to go through the process. And I thought this is actually very interesting for anyone who would want to do this to know how to do it, because I also had no clue. There was no information anywhere on how I could do this. So what was the first thing that I did? Now, we got married legally, so which was the main thing, because I needed the legal marriage certificate or marriage license in order to go through the process. So as a Nigerian, there are requirements on how to do a new passport with a new name on the Nigerian embassy website. And the reason why I quickly changed my passport, did that, was because my passport was supposed to expire few months later, and it just made sense that, you know what, I can as well just do the renewal of the passport with the new name at once than wait and renew it and then have to do it later, if you get me. So the first thing was to do the change of name on my passport before every other document. And one of the things that they asked for was the marriage license. So I got the marriage license after our wedding, of course, booked an appointment date for the for the passport renewal. And then I also did an affidavit of change of name from Nigeria and a publication on a newspaper in Nigeria. Luckily for me, my brother was in Nigeria at the time where I needed this, and he's a lawyer, so it was easy for them to get this done for me. So you can, of course, if you know someone, it will be easy for you. If you don't know anyone, unfortunately, you might have to go to Nigeria to get this done yourself. So I got the affidavit, I got the newspaper publication, and then I had the marriage license as well. So these were the three major things that I needed to change my passport. I got to the embassy, told them filled out the form for the new name and then the old name. And that was pretty much it. When the new passport came out, it had the new name the way that I wanted it. Now, just something you should note is that I also wanted to change my middle name, but I realized that it is not allowed. So if you want to change your name, the only thing they can let you do is change only your last name. If you want to change any other thing, even if it's one letter in your first name or your middle name, you want to take out your middle name, or whatever you want to do, they would not let that. Even if you want to actually add your new surname to your previous name. So let's say your name was John Smith and now you want to use John Smith Mike. They won't accept it. So what you can only do is John Mike, which would now be the new name, as opposed to John Smith Mike. The only other way you can get any other change is if you go to Abuja in Nigeria to make this change. So every Nigerian embassy in every country doesn't make that change except the change of the surname, just in case you're thinking of doing that. So know that it's a longer process and you have to go to Abuja to do it. But if you just want to change your surname, then of course this is the process. Well, I just changed my surname. I got the new passport, and the moment I got the new passport, I started applying to pretty much everywhere that I had a record to change my name. So I applied to change my residence permit first of all to include the new name and the new passport number. The good thing is when I did that, that sort of updated most of my records, like tax record and all this other information within the country. I had to reach out to my health insurance, pension company, like my job, and my banks. So I had to reach out to all of these institutions that I had changed my name and I needed it to reflect in my records. So what they would usually ask you for is, again, your marriage license and the new passport. Now, none of this institutions care about the affidavit or the publication. This is only a requirement for the Nigerian embassy. So, having said that, I always had like my marriage license and the new passport to send to any of these organizations, and then sometimes they would tell you to wait for a couple of days, they need to verify, and then they would send you a letter to your address to be sure that you live at that address, you are the person that is really trying to change the name and all that. So this was what I had to do, and I would say it took me to do this entire process from I got married in May. I think up until like September, I think August. Actually, more like up until August, because first of all, the passport was ready by July. I think end of July. So all of this process had to quickly be done August for me to be able to now use the new passport and the new residence permit to travel for our honeymoon. So if you're thinking about this, I will tell you, if you have another wedding that is like in front, just like we did, like we had the court wedding in May and the church wedding in September. If you want to do anything, do it immediately after your court wedding or your civil wedding, so that you know that you are sorted by the time you're having your church wedding, or maybe if you want to travel, because now you would need these new documents to travel. In our case, or in my case, we then had to change my tickets. So my flight tickets for our honeymoon, the cruise reservation, because of course by now you should know that we went on a cruise to about 4 countries in Europe for our honeymoon. So we had to change that reservation to bear the new name. Mind you, some companies like the flights, airline company or the hotel or whatever could ask you to pay to change the name, right? But somehow I was able to find, like, the cruise company was nice enough to sort of waive that fee. I think it was 50 euros I was supposed to pay, but they waived the fee and then they changed it for me for free. While for the company, while for the flights, I wasn't able to change it. So what happened was that, luckily for me, the previous passport was still valid and the new passport was of course still valid. So I had spoken to them at the Nigerian embassy to please not cancel the first one, because I needed to do a lot of changes before I'll even be able to use the new one. So because the first passport wasn't cancelled, I was able to use that passport to fly, right? Because the airline refused to change the name. They said in order to change the name, I basically had to buy a new flight ticket because it was for a new person. Crazy, but that was the situation of things. So if you know you'd be changing names, either you do this really fast, but don't forget, like, airlines would not accept, they don't care if you just got married and you change your name, but you need to have the current name on your passport. That's what they would use to let you fly. But yeah, so these were the basic things that I needed to change. And then now at the moment, all of my records are now have the same name on my new passport. My residence permit has the same name. All of my records, again, are links to the previous name. So you don't have to do anything extra, even for your taxes. You don't need to do anything extra because your records would be updated. So whenever you go to any public office and they put in your new name, it would show your records even with your old name, because it now shows that you're the same person. But yeah, this was pretty much what I did. I think it took about a month for the new, I think about a month or 3 weeks for the new residence permit as well to come out. So just put this timeline in mind. If you're thinking of traveling after you just changed your name, it might take a while. So it's best for you to just get everything sorted. And also, if you live in Germany, don't forget to ask for a new proof of address. So let's say you already have a proof of address, or Anmeldung as it's called, from your current place with the old name. The moment you change your name, ask them for a new one, with the new name and that address. Otherwise, the previous one would really not hold any value because it has an old name. Yeah, so this was supposed to be a very short video of telling you the different processes, the different documents that I needed to change my name. If you're interested in using any of this information, I hope that it's been helpful to you and you can change your name seamlessly and easily in Germany. Thank you for coming to the end of this video. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye.